Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Shavi Zane, and I'm coming on to have a quick conversation with you all. So this is for those of you who are out there who have locks. I decided to lock my hair personally. This was February of, oh my gosh, 2022. Yeah, February of 2022. So it was actually February the 22nd of 22, because I remember it was 2/22/2022. So it was all twos on that day that I locked my hair. So it's been a good year and a half at least. And today I was washing my hair. You all know, most of you know that I keep my hair covered up. Most of the time it's covered because I'm always doing some form of spiritual work. And so generally I like to keep my hair covered when I do my spiritual work. But sometimes I wear it out. So today I was actually washing my hair. And y'all, I tell you, my hair had a whole conversation with me. I know some of y'all are like, what? And then others of you are like, I know exactly what you're talking about. So I was washing my hair and I was thinking like, man, I can't wait until certain parts grow to catch up with the others, right? Because you got those layers that happens when it's shorter at the top, longer at the back, And so my hair told me, it was like, you need to embrace these layers because it represents the many layers of who you are. But it also represents the many layers of where you've come from and where you're going. So some pieces are longer than others because you have more wisdom in some areas, and then others are shorter because you're still gaining clarity, you're still growing. So then, I was feeling through, washing, and I have a couple of locks that's over here on this side that's like really thin. So at least two of them here that's like really thin. And I was like, man, one day I'm going to have somebody, put those locks together, bond them together. And my locks, they said, well, it represents that two is better than one, and sometimes you have the weaker vessels, you need to bring them together and it brings more strength. And so I said, okay. So then I was feeling through as I'm washing and I feel the locks that are much thicker. And I was like, man, it would be nice if all of these locks were the same size. And I heard, well, these locks that are thicker are definitely beautiful, but if they stood alone, then it still wouldn't be enough. So I'm just like, okay, I'm getting all of these messages that's coming through. So I have a couple of locks in my head that are like little baby locks that just came through with the new growth. So I began forming them into locks. They're so short that I can't show them to you. And I was thinking, I'm looking forward to these growing, and what I heard was you always have to start as a babe first. At some point, all of my other locks were babes. And so you have these two little babes that's sprouting through. So my locks told me it was just a representation that, you go through this cycle of life. You start off as a babe and then eventually you cycle back to being a babe all over again. And so I'm trying to think what else came through. Oh, yes. Then I was thinking about how one side of my locks is thicker than the other. This side is much thicker than this side over here. My hair has always been that way. My hair has always been that way. And so what I heard was, it's just the representation of the polarity of who I am, meaning that most of the world will get to see two sides of you. And the other many layers that comes with who you are, you get to freely express them at your own leisure. But that those two sides of who you are, the world will always see. And so it was so many different lessons that came through as I was washing my hair today. And I just feel like, it's so important for us to embrace the journey because it really is a learning process. Like there's a lot of wisdom that comes in these locks. Or comes with wearing these locks and embracing the journey and paying attention to the different phases that they go through, but also being able to see where you are in life. Because I felt like I did a whole reading on myself through just evaluating my locks. And so that was pretty interesting. I don't know if you all have ever tried that before, doing a reading by evaluating your locks, evaluating the stage and the phases that they're in, at that particular moment in your life and seeing how it reflects on who you are as a person, because it was very accurate. Okay. And I've never heard of anybody doing anything like that before, but maybe there's others who have discovered that. I don't know, because I'm very new to the lock journey. You know, I guess some would consider me as being a teenager. As you all can see, I can't keep my hair out of my hands out of my locks. And so this is why I like to keep them covered, because I'm not as tempted to play with them. But that was, oh yes, that was the other lesson. Speaking of new growth. Okay. So I have never had anyone touch my hair before. I've never had anyone touch my locks. I started them myself and I've maintained them myself. And I was thinking about, you know, the new growth, and like, okay, I was just thinking as I was washing my hair, and I was like, you know, yeah, I got all of this new growth, you know, it's getting a little fuzzy at the top. And what I heard was, you know, this is the roots. This is the beginning of what's soon to come. And so it's very important to manage the roots, not saying that you're supposed to twist them up, but more or less embrace the thickness, embrace the growth, embrace them even in their, you know, I guess the puffy stage, or I don't know what you want to call it, when you have all of the extra new growth and you just don't want to keep retwisting. Embrace that part of the journey, because if you leave it alone, it'll grow out healthier, it'll grow out thicker. And you want to consider the root of a plant. The root of a plant, you're not just sitting there fiddling around with the roots of a plant. You recognize that the roots is the most important part of that plant. And if the roots are disrupted, then so is every other area. The stem, the plant itself, all of that is disrupted. And so embracing the roots in the stage that they're in without over manipulating them is important. Just nurturing them just enough, watering them, speaking life into them, showing them love, and anticipating the best. You know, it was so much that came through in the reading of my locks. So I suggest that you all out there, if you have locks, read yourself through your locks. It'll be a whole story that you'll gain in terms of where you are in your life, no matter what phase you're at, whether you are in the starter phase or you've been growing them out for years. Consider that every phase counts. And so I hope that made sense for you all, because I was kind of all over the place, but I had to share that because I thought it was pretty interesting, that experience. And so I look forward to embracing every phase of my lock journey and learning how to love them in this stage where it's like, okay, I wish I could do more. But then it's like, yeah, when they do get longer and they're down my back and they're all more uniform and about the same length, then I'm going to be missing the many layers. I'll be missing the times when it looked like a little cute bob. You see what I'm saying? And so it's that lesson of just learning how to embrace each phase of life and not taking it for granted. You know, staying in the now, not looking too much into the future, but also, you know, that was another lesson. I had so many. Another one, I received a message saying, you know, embrace the length that you're at now, because again, when you do in the future, when your hair grows, you're going to look back and you're going to miss this stage. But on top of that, embrace where you are now, because there was a time in the past where you was looking forward to being right where you are. And so pretty much showing gratitude for how far you've come, whether it's with your lock journey or just in life in general. It's just that it's those lessons that come with having locks. So this thing is very spiritual. You know, I would say I understood the spiritual nature of having locks, but I didn't understand it to this degree until today. Being able to read myself through my locks and get a whole lesson and message through my locks today showed me that the spiritual experience that's connected to this is far deeper than maybe many of us realize, you know. So I just thought I would come on and share that with you all. Leave a message if you find that if you have locks and you've experienced the same thing where you've been able to gather wisdom by evaluating your own locks, or if you've never tried it, you know, try it out yourself and then leave a message, you know, leave a comment below. Let me know. Are your locks talking to you? Are they giving you messages of wisdom? Because mine's definitely, they talking real loud. And I receive every message that comes through. So I love you all. That's my message. Please be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll talk to you all next time.